Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my home. Didn't think we'd be teaching class from here today, but the snow continues. So, what I wanted to do is kind of go over a few things regarding nonverbal communication and prepare you guys for your test that is upcoming, and then do a little bit on safety. So, many types of nonverbal communication, as you have seen in your textbook, there are more than just the contact, body positioning, sitting straight at the person, and facial expressions. Concern. We discussed these in detail in class. There's some others that we haven't discussed, and one is pantomime. So pantomime can be something like acting it out. Like if I want to ask you if you want to eat, I can go like this. Because maybe you can't understand me. Maybe you can't hear. Maybe you don't know English or know the words I'm saying. So pantomime is a great way to do that because we can understand. We can point at the bathroom and walk towards the bathroom. Tone is another important nonverbal. If the tone of my voice is nice and happy, that's much better than if I speak like this. You need to know this, or you need to do this, or I'm upset with you. Tone varies depending on what we're doing. When we're talking with the patient, we want to use a polite tone or a concerned tone, not a authoritative or authoritarian. You need to take your medicine now. That's not how we talk to a patient. Facial expressions are another important thing. Do we look happy? Hey, great, it's a snow day. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's still coming down. The kids across the street have a little hill and they're sledding down it. Isn't that nice? Or we have another snow day. We're getting behind on our work. Lots of different tones that we can use. Our tones when we're trying to get our children to do something is different than when we tell them how beautiful their artwork is. Facial expressions vary based on what we're doing. Are we happy? Are we sad? Are we concerned? I'm not going to go in and say, the doctor told me that you're not doing well like this. Oh, the doctor told me that you're not doing well. But rather, the doctor let me know that your condition is deteriorating. What can we do for you? That shows much more concern instead of, oh, it's good to see you this morning. How are you? So gestures also come into play when we're talking about nonverbal communication. So a gesture can just be I don't know, not sure what you're doing. Or, great. I don't want to make anyone dizzy going like this. Or, come on. That's great. Okay. Give me a little more information. So those are all nonverbals that we may encounter or we may use. And we need to be careful of those because, again, look how much communication is nonverbal versus the words we're actually choosing. The next topic I wanted to cover was dealing with a difficult person. Dealing with a difficult person is a challenge for healthcare workers. We have patients who are under a great deal of stress or their family members. Sometimes drugs, alcohol make people do things they don't normally do or would be embarrassed to do. They get loose lipped, say things that aren't kind or mean. Sometimes they're confused and they say things that they don't mind. Don't mean. So we need to be really careful. Stress can make people do crazy behaviors. Also, when somebody's upset, if we don't respond to them in a good way, which I will talk about next, we can make the situation actually worsen. They can become more angry and possibly even lash out at us. So, a couple things to know is number one, when you're dealing with a difficult person, or you know that you're going to have to deal with this difficult person, always have somebody else and or security on standby. So I would say, hey, to one of my coworkers, I'm going to go in room 212. Patient's been really upset lately. I'd like, will you listen at the door? And then, they'll pay attention, listen to what's going on, and then if necessary, call security or come in and help out. Number two is definitely if the situation is potentially volatile, you're definitely going to have security on standby. You're not going to go into this situation without help. So after you plan out how you're going to do this and what you're going to do, you want to go in and approach the patient in a calm manner. You're going to talk in a very quiet voice. There's nothing worse than a yelling battle. So I'm going to approach the patient quietly. Hi, I understand that there was a problem during night shift. Is there something can we talk about it? Or would you like to talk about it? Well, they make lots of noise all night long and I don't get any sleep. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to the nurse manager and let them know of your complaint and concern. And I'm also going to talk to the night shift when they come in and tell them that, they're keeping you awake at night. The other thing, I'm going to suggest that they close your door so that if there is noise in the hall, that you're not hearing it. And then I'm going to excuse myself and I'm going to go talk to the nurse manager and possibly send the manager in to talk to the patient to reassure them that their concern has been heard. The next day, I'm going to follow up with the patient. Hey, how were things last night? Was it quieter? Did you get sleep? I'm going to approach it, not ignore it and pretend like it went away. So you want to act concerned with their problem. You want to talk about their problem. You want to acknowledge their problem. Always apologize, even if it's not your fault. Obviously, if there's noise on the night shift, it's not your fault. However, if you apologize and acknowledge it, it will make the patient feel much better. So a simple statement, I am sorry that whatever it was happened to you. Build a relationship, build a trust relationship. Do what you say you're going to do. So tell them, I'm going to talk to the manager. Then have the manager come in and talk to the patient. If there's a problem with the kitchen, their coffee's cold every single day, then call down to the kitchen and ask them to make sure his coffee's hot, and then have the dietary manager come up and talk to the patient. The next day before you deliver the coffee, make sure it's hot. If it's not, heat it up in the microwave and then call down to the kitchen and say, you know what, the coffee's still not hot. No matter what the patient's doing, no matter how they're behaving, we must treat them with respect. They may be disrespectful to you, but don't be disrespectful to them. Do not get into a yelling match. The best thing you can do is lower your voice when someone's talking, yelling at you. We've all been in situations, probably in our personal life, where somebody is yelling at us, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, whatever. And what do? We yell back. That just escalates the yelling. Haha, I can yell louder than you. Haha, and it doesn't accomplish anything. No one hears what the other person is saying. Everyone just keeps right on yelling, laughing. I'm moving the computer, and I'm saying laughing instead of yelling. So we definitely do that. So you want to just lower your voice, speak slowly, and don't try to get into a yelling match. Do not get into a yelling match. Focus on what the problem is. What's the problem? They'll go, and then this happened, and then that happened. No, the problem is that they want hot coffee, and they're not getting a hot coffee. It has nothing to do with it's too cold in this room at that point in time. The point is the coffee. So you're going to fix that immediate problem. Whatever you agree to do, make sure you follow through on it. If you tell them that you're going to call down to dietary, you're going to make sure that their coffee is hot every day, then don't serve them cold coffee tomorrow. And get the manager of dietary or somebody from dietary to come up and apologize and say, we're really sorry. We've been really short-staffed due to the snow, and the coffee's been made and on the trays, but we don't have the breakfast ready per se. So if the patient is getting aggressive, leave the room. You need to leave the room. Your safety is the most important. So leave the room. When you enter a room, always make sure you have a clear path to the exit. Don't turn your back on someone who is violent or loud, because you don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to pull your hair? Are they going to kick you? Make sure that you know where your exit is. If there's only one, make sure there's a clear path between you and the exit. Don't let the patient block you into a room. Don't let a difficult person back you into a corner in a room, because that's a dangerous situation. If the situation starts getting ugly and you want to leave, and I did say do not turn your back on the patient, because you want to see where their hands are, where their legs are, what movements they're making. Are they making anything quickly? Start sidestepping towards the door. Very slowly kind of rock backwards to the door so that they're not even aware that you're getting yourself positioned to get out of there. Again, do not turn your back on them. If you get into a situation that you've had to leave the room because a patient is so aggressive, you need to notify security, you need to notify your manager, and you need to let your coworkers know so that everybody remains safe. I think that's about all I want to talk about regarding communication. Make sure that you have read the chapter thoroughly in your textbook, because communication is so important in healthcare. That scream outside was the snowball fight that has just begun from the neighbor kids. I wish I was out there. Anyway, another video to come.